if it starts to rain, you're gonna get totally wet. So I'm kind of stuck here. This might be a good campground. The cops won't bother me. Just took my first crash here. This is the last day I'm gonna have this bike. I am about to go to the Burtonsville car meet, and then I'm going to take it to its new owner. Pretty sad. I really like this one. It's pretty dirty, but I'm glad I found... Oh. Sometimes it does that. I'm glad I found a good home. I'm not used to riding it like this without the windscreen, but it feels much zippier like this. It looks kind of cool without the windscreen. Yeah, I'm gonna miss this bike. This has been probably the best scooter I've had, and I've had larger scooters, but this is a good balance of scooter. It really is kind of a do-it-all bike, and it's so handy because it's got the glove box, the hook, and a very large under-seat storage compartment. And it's fuel injected. The controls are really well done. Everything on it is like, the fit and finish is excellent. It's a Honda, but it's kind of weird considering that the Ruckus is a Honda, and I don't think that's a good bike at all. I think it's extremely overrated and expensive, but this one is absolutely underrated. If you had to get a scooter that was underrated, this is the one. On a 50, like if you're riding uphill, you're gonna slow down quite a bit. On these 110s, the reason it strikes such a good balance is that you can ride it uphill and it's not gonna lose a lot of speed. You're not going to annoy cars, which is something that a lot of motorcycle or scooter riders tend to do with the very low speed. And you also have access to a whole lot more roads, because you can pretty much ride this on the highway, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend you can go on secondary roads without any problems and keep up with traffic. I used to take this to work all the time. Of course, I don't have a lot of miles on it. I only have 6,000 miles. But I did see a guy that had one of these Elites, and he had 60,000 miles. So they are extremely reliable. And it's also very comfortable. And unlike a 50, you can carry a passenger on this. It's got the rear pegs for a passenger. So I am going to miss this thing. The guy that I sold it to seems like a good guy. He lives in Washington, D.C., right in D.C. Northwest. So he probably needs this for transportation and for various riding and stuff. So I am glad that it's going to go to a good home. And the guy is an enthusiast of the Honda Elites, because he's had two other Honda Elites. He had the old ones, but he was telling me that he didn't really like that they were carbureted, so every season he had to like work on it. And I told him, you know, this bike, since it's fuel injected, you really don't have to do much other than change the oil. Even though it's a bigger scooter, it still feels like a small scooter. And you can probably get away with not even like tagging it. That's how small it is. And of course I removed the windscreen, which I'm kind of glad, because that windscreen is kind of good to have for the winter. So I might put it on another scooter. I'm still gonna go and do scooter life, but a 50cc scooter limits your scooter riding abilities, or like who you can ride with. Because on this 110 I could maybe keep up with some bigger scooters, but on 50s it's like, oh man, you better get like a tiny group together. Actually, it kind of feels good to stop because it's so cold. And not having the windscreen really changes the way this bike rides. I think it's much more enjoyable with the windscreen. Yeah, I just really like the scooter. I think I'm gonna really miss it. Now, I'm really just going to have the Ruckus and the C3, and I am selling the Ruckus. The C3 is great. It's a great 50. Nifty 50. So these are the roads that are a little bit difficult for scooters like this. The speed is 50, so you really are maxing out the bike, but it will hit 50 miles an hour. A lot of people think this is what the roads in DC look like. Physically they look like this, but generally they're just packed full of cars going bumper to bumper, like they're not moving faster than 10 miles an hour. And in a little scooter you can just kind of crawl through the shoulder. A Honda Ruckus, I just can't see why people would get the Ruckus other than its cute looks. It's like people are bored and they want to like modify scooters to spend money. I don't know the reason, because you can get a C3 for a fraction of what you can get at Ruckus. Take all the plastics off and you'll have a pretty cool scooter, like a much better build, better engine. I just don't get a lot of this. It's all marketing. Of course, I think Honda did well in the design of the Ruckus. These bumps on the road, you really feel them. So if you want something a little bit more comfortable for everyday riding, a Kimco People or something like that with larger wheels really does well. I guess it is going to be nice to have a little bit more space in the garage. I really have to clean that thing up. Yeah, people wearing shorts riding their bicycles. God damn, it's way too cold for that. Ooh, bumpy roads, man. Ugh. God damn. The scooter is gonna be living here in DC, which is kind of sad because the chances of getting stolen in this area are much higher than my area. Even though it's like really expensive here, there's a lot of thieving around here. It's just fun to do that. I kind of lost track how many vehicles I've had. Look at this idiot. Why would I ever go through here? That makes no sense that you took me like through some like fucking residential zones. God, stupid GPS. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, I caught you just in time. I'll just park it over here.